Reds, how are we? This is Tom from Reds Down Under, and this is your weekly Liverpool fan podcast here in Australia. We've got a jam-packed podcast this week. We're looking at that amazing win against Arsenal and that Szoboszlai goal. We're talking about the transfer window finally shutting and Liverpool getting their key man, Alexander Isak. And we also have a special section of the podcast where we look back at the amazing time that we had under legendary manager Rafa Benítez. Now, this bit is not a paid sponsorship or anything like that, but we would like to thank Cheers Bar, who've been massive supporters of the podcast so far. They've been absolutely brilliant. And if you go to Cheers Bar on a Liverpool match day, you'll see Reds Down Under posters everywhere. So just a shout out to them for being absolute legends. Enjoy the pod.
This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the weekly show. What a week it's been, Tom. What a week it's been.
Massive, innit?
Yeah, it's scary how big it is. Tom, I've got a question. What have you learned about the Reds this week?
What have I learned about the Reds? What I've learned about the Reds this week is that we are like the Real Madrid for the clubs below us. Like,
must be annoying.
We fucking hate Real Madrid, Ryan, because they're always pinching our best players and that. But for clubs like a Newcastle and a Crystal Palace, which we'll talk about more, we are that sort of club with the pull that they can't resist. So that's what I've learned. What have you learned?
That Dominic Szoboszlai is the best right back at the club.
You said that last week. You're doubling down.
Well, I'm right about it, mate.
Yeah.
The man was born to play fullback.
Yeah.
Watching a number 8, an energetic centre midfield number 8 play fullback and pull out performances like that in an Adidas shirt just brings all my childhood joy back. You know what I'm loving about it? My two favourite players was Torres and Gerrard. And he's Gerrard but with the Torres hair.
And then you've got Ekitike.
And then Ekitike, yeah. Class.
No, it's been a brilliant week. Szoboszlai was fantastic. There was a whole bunch of players who played really well. Now, this weekly show comes to you in the international break.
Everyone's favourite.
Everyone loves it, don't they? So we're mostly keeping the same format this week. So we're going to talk about that Arsenal win. Bing pot, you know what I mean? Brilliant.
Bang.
Keep an eye on social media for that reference. We're gonna read out some of your comments as well. That you sent in on social media about that. We've got the fantasy football. You know, we're 3 games in now, so it's starting to take a little bit of shape. And then we'll talk about the transfer window and what a transfer window it's been for Liverpool. And then after that, because we've got no game to look ahead to next week, we had a pre-recorded pod that we did with Wayno. Yeah. Assistant producer Wayno from the L Files.
Wayno, mate.
How are you, lad? And it was like a Rafa Benítez special, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of starting to look at like the eras of managers. And it was the deep dive on Rafa Benítez. And if I'm honest, when we recorded that as a bit of a bonus episode, I thought I'd get the time off for the international break. And here we are again, Reds. Here we are again.
Well, after the international break, we've actually got quite a packed schedule. So I don't even know whether you'll be invited back for a while.
We'll see what happens. See what I say on this one.
Yeah, we'll see what you say. Absolutely subtle. Before we move on, Reds, on into the abyss, I wanted to say a quick thank you to Jack, who, when we were at the recent Craig Johnson event, he bought me this Craig Johnson 1986 Wembley Cup final shirt signed by the man himself, Craig Johnson. Well, when you bought it, it wasn't signed, and then he signed it for us.
No, so it was. I could have bought a signed shirt for less, but I got you that because I thought, well, you can either put it in the studio or you could wear it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, also on there for your lads, and we were like,
great, great.
Yeah, which is great. He's done it, so yeah, now it's hung up.
And like, I love it.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to wear.
But I would have loved to wear it.
Yeah. Put it this way, so Tom bought me this year's home shirt, and like, he got me, and then when I seen that, I was like, I wonder if we can do a trade. And then Craig Johnson had to put his, you know what I mean?
His great signature on it.
Put his John Hancock on.
Absolutely.
Little bit of a trivia for anyone who doesn't know. We're not doing a Reds quiz in this section, I don't believe. Did you check if there is one in the Rafa one?
No.
You can't remember.
But now that you don't know
remember.
either.
Yeah.
So when we did the pre-recorded one, I can't remember if I did Rafa trivia.
Yeah, we don't know. It's a fact. I thought you would have done it. It's a fact. But John Hancock, his signature's called the John Hancock because he was the first man to sign the Declaration of Independence.
Brilliant.
Take that away. Use it in your lives. Use it at home. The wife will be like, whoa, my Steve, so clever.
Yeah, shut up, big rig.
Shout out Damo. Over in our home city at the minute.
Yeah, he was over there for the Arsenal game. Also, before we move on, as always, thank you to our production partner, Rebel Ventures. Help us out with everything. They do animation, they do stuff with AI, which I still can't quite fathom, but you're there, you're brilliant, so thank you so much. And an additional little shout out this week to Summit River Brewing Company, who I met in Canberra this week. And, you know it's like being a Scouser.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to talk to you about football, which is great. I love it. If they're red. And, yeah. Oh, you're joking, aren't you? We would have won 3 European Cups in the 80s, if it weren't for that. Yeah. Everton fans. And, I was like, oh, I'm a red and that. And he was like, yeah, have a pack of these beers. So I thought...
Nice one.
Yeah, free pack.
Do you remember his name?
You know what? I don't remember his name. And he sent me a message on social media as well.
But it's the name of the...
But it's the name of the company. So it's, Summit River Brewing.
Panorama Australian Lager.
And it's quite a nice sip, isn't it?
Apparently it's crisp, refreshing, finishing with a clean, satisfying bitterness. It's the ultimate knockoff beer. Just ask our bar manager and cocktail mastermind.
This isn't an ad,
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, it's not?
No, we're not paid. We're not getting paid for this.
We're not getting paid.
He's just gave me free beer, and I thought I'd give them a shout out because they are Reds after all. And also, this shirt I'm wearing was given to me by Steve Tricky.
Yeah.
It's got Arnie Slot's face on it, and he said, "What size are you?" Steve Tricky from the Adelaide Supporters Group, and I said, "Oh, large," which, by the way, is always ambitious, right?
Yeah.
So it's dead tight. But he gave me 2, a red one and a black one. I tried the red one on, and Jack went, looks a bit tight. You go and put the black one on. So
black is supposedly slimming.
It's slimming.
But yeah, shout out Steve. He makes a lot of these t-shirts himself. You can get one that fits you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a large, buy an extra large and we'll do a switcheroo.
Yeah, you'll swap it out.
Jack, let's stop talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Liverpool 1, Arsenal 0 at the weekend. Bonkers, mate, you go. You take it. Run with it. Actually, let me stop you there. The game itself, no one's joking. Go on, carry on.
It was an awful game.
Yeah.
It was an awful game. I seen a really interesting thing after it in like the post-match. Peter Schmeichel, Casper Schmeichel's dad.
Yeah.
It's a callback. Where he says, like, Arsenal play such an ugly brand of football. And he's talking about if Arteta should just let them go and play because they've got the players to do it. And it made me actually start to think, imagine he went there and they had like an ambitious manager who wanted to go out and let them play. They could be like a real threat. But they don't. They have Lego heads and they're boring. Everything about them's boring. They're just, I was like, imagine watching that. It's like watching Mourinho's Chelsea. It's awful to watch.
Well, so you know me, like, I don't mind a defensive coach, like, at the right times. Like, Odegaard weren't fully fit. Eze'd only just signed. Yeah. So...
He had a decent game, Eze, as well.
And when he came on, he was a threat, wasn't he? Yeah. Madueke was a threat, for sure, on that right-hand side. And Kerkez did really well. Because you couldn't say he was in his pocket, but he did really well.
Let's do with that. I've seen so many Arsenal... Twitter is such a... Seen so many Arsenal fans being like, man, Kirk is absolutely cooked, man. They're like, shut up, he never.
Yeah.
If you watch even like the compilation videos they've put together, it looks like a Kirk's compilation video.
Showing how good Kirk is.
Yeah. Man, he had him in his pocket. You're like, Kirk is class, man. But Arsenal fans,
man, like, they're just so funny. They're just so funny, and you know, the claim for a penalty there, Szoboszlai. The balls came from behind two players in front of Szoboszlai, and it's hit him on the right at the top of the arm.
Yeah.
You couldn't give a penalty for that. If it was the other way around, I'd be like, I can't. It weren't like the fucking Odegaard one, which was a penalty, by the way.
Basketball with it.
Disgusting. But what I will say about Arsenal is I saw a team there and I thought these are going to do something this year, I think, because they had 2 clean sheets before the game at the weekend. Obviously, we beat them, but we needed a moment of
massive moment of
brilliance, which we'll come to. You know, it could have easily been 3 straight clean sheets for Arsenal. And then when I think about like what you need to win, like the European Cup. Now, I'm not saying Arsenal are going to win the Champions League. I'm not saying that, but that performance the other night would have been like a show-stopping, brilliant performance in the Champions League at the Bernabeu, or in Paris. Do you get what I'm saying?
Before they took the away goal rule away, and before the new format, yes.
Well, even
when you jump into them knockout games and you're going away, holding out for a draw, trying to nick a goal or whatever, like that's how we would play under Rafa going away in the Champions League.
Yeah, but if you can go, if that game was in the Champions League, Liverpool Arsenal the weekend, right, and that was the first game. If you were an Arsenal fan, even though they got beat, because it's a 2-leg format, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd come away from that going, we were pretty strong there, and they only beat us with a free kick. We'll go back the next game, and the game will be different.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a league game, and they've lost 3 points. But I just looked at Arsenal and I thought we beat them there, but I think they're a genuine threat.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like we've robbed them, does it? You remember like when we beat PSG in the Champions League last year, away?
Are we drew, didn't we?
No, we beat them. Harvey Elliott scored a late winner.
Oh yeah.
Right. Before, like we came out of that game and went, how did we get out of that with the win? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that with the Arsenal game. It was like, it didn't feel like we'd robbed them of something.
No, and I think that's
because it was such, like, and look, I'm ripping into Arteta and the Arsenal team, yeah, but like that was one of Konate's best games in a while.
Yeah.
Van Dijk was just unbelievable. Even towards the last kick of the game, they're floating a free kick in, and Van Dijk was like, "Use fall, forget about it. That I'm winning that ball. I am not taking any chances with any user than that ball." So like our defence was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, to be honest, like I think if you're Arsenal looking at how we came out with the 2 past results we had there, conceding 4 goals over them 2 games, you'd be looking at that thinking we can get out of Liverpool here, and they just didn't, and it's great. And look, that might be a different situation. Like let's say this game was 10 games into the season. You know what I mean? Because it is the start of the season, and things tend to. You know what I mean? Like you would go 2-2 draw, but anyway, we beat them. That's the top, mate. And that's 9 from 9.
That's the most important thing. Cop down under our friend Brian. He was on the pod.
Thanks, Brian.
We asked like people what their thoughts were on the game. He said Sal was really poor, and he said that he's not been as good since he signed his contract. Is that harsh, or do you think that's fair?
I can't remember the week his deal was announced.
Well, his deal. Well, it was towards the end of the season, wasn't it?
The title wasn't wrapped up, yeah, but that was it.
Maybe 6 games to go or something, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was, but I mean, possibly. But I mean, isn't that like every single player who signs a new deal? You know what I mean? Like we used to joke, like you'd see the best player in the world in Paul Pogba when it was coming up for time for a renewal. Yeah, and also like Brian, like I don't think you're wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I think the whole idea that he is playing now with a new centre forward, the system has slightly changed. you know what I mean? Like, he's had Szoboszlai behind him for the last couple of games. I don't know. I wouldn't worry. It's yeah, I'm not concerned. Plus, like, he is human and he's 34. Like, he's not going to be absolutely on every single game.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, Brian, I think we've actually there's a whole bunch of players actually at the moment who I'd look at and I go, there's a lot more to come from them.
Yeah.
Vert, Salah, Gakpo started the season really well, but I think it's a big year for Cody Gakpo this year. I really do.
He's just signed an extension, hasn't he?
He's just signed a new deal, yeah.
So it'll go downhill.
Yeah, that's done. But, you know, McAllister, Kanate, these are all players who are not quite hitting it at the minute. Let's talk about the goal, Jack, because what a goal it was. Big Rig said Szoboszlai harnessed the Stevie G. Justin Barrett said overall it was his best game for Liverpool, and Danny Ford agreed. The goal itself, when you're in a game that tight, sometimes you need just an absolute moment of genius. And when I seen him lining up, I knew he was hitting the ball. Because there was 4 players around the ball. Gakpo was one of them, which I thought was strange. I've never seen him hit the ball from a free kick. It was always going to be Szoboszlai, and what a goal it was.
Yeah, the confidence just to hit that ball, especially, you know what I mean? I seen it was like a stream. 2 streamers watching the 2 streams. sounds a bit offensive, doesn't it? 2 YouTubers were doing a stream, and they were like, "Oh, what road do you think this is going to end up in then? What road do you think?" It's like doubt, the pure doubt and hate. Look, me, honestly, anyone who's been listening from week 1 knows I am quite critical of him because I know how good he can be. And the fact the power he hit that, and it was like his one for Hungary a couple of years ago. It was that against Turkey when he got that one a couple of years ago. So it was just, perfect the way he hit it. Seeing Chiesa just goes, that man was born to play for Liverpool, mate.
Chiesa gets it.
He's mad. Do you think he looks a bit like Bolo Zenden?
Chiesa?
Yeah,
No.
he does, man. He does.
Bolo, underrated player.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Underrated player. When Rafa brought him in, we were all like...
I'd like to see a head-to-head there, Bolo Zenden and Chiesa. It's just in the episode, see if I can see it.
All right. But we put up a video as well. We dragged it from the Liverpool Instagram, and we put a bit of Baker Street on there.
Yeah.
It was the shot from behind, and Kerkez is behind Szoboszlai, so he's closest to the camera, and he is like us, and he's standing there, and as soon as it like hits the post, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone,
Yeah.
Unbelievable goal. And sometimes, look, to win the big games, you absolutely just need that sort of player. Kanate Jack again got a bit of a knock, and we'll talk about Gahey, but it is a little bit of a concern with Kanate, isn't it? Is injury problems.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey Gomez might play a lot more football than what we thought this season, and we've got the kid Leone as well.
The strange thing was, like, there was talk Gomez was like gone. I seen a lot he's out. Yeah, AC Milan, he's going and all this, and then it was like, he might be signing a new deal, and it was like, he's staying. To be honest, talking about like transfers, Tom, I'm so happy that this window's closed now, because I woke up this morning. Let's get on the transfers, right? I woke up this morning to seeing Sky Sports News. Gahey agrees deal with Liverpool on Sky Sports News. You know what I mean?
Oh, because you're up at the crack of dawn, eh?
It's like, it's on, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, unbelievable. It's happening. Fair play.
Yeah.
And then I scrolled up 3 more. And the deal was off. Fucking hell, Sky Sports News, man. So there was a couple of minute period there where I was like, buzzing. Absolutely unbelievable. And then, it was just out of there, gone. I feel really sorry for that lad.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him.
It's put a sourness on this window for me now.
Yeah, I think it's disappointing the way it happened. And you know what? Fair play. Crystal Palace wants to keep the player.
Yeah.
you know, the player might go in January
For a lot less.
for a lot less money, but the club will have had their best,
Yeah.
arguably their best player now.
Yeah.
As A's gone, you've got Mateta who's a cracker, you've got young Wharton who's a cracker, but Gahey's probably the best footballer at the club, so it's going to give them a bit of time. And to be honest, you know, it'd be interesting to see. Normally when Liverpool want a player, they want him.
Yeah.
So
They get the heart set on him, and that's it, isn't it?
yeah, I don't see it being the end of the Gahey thing with Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if Gahey was to come in January. And I also wouldn't be surprised.
Would you be on a free in the summer?
Yeah.
Like, at least that way, if Kanate doesn't sign a new deal, you go, all right, well, that's that sorted.
Well, my thing can be
As long as like Gay's performances stay the way they are.
yeah. Look, he's a top.
He's not going to tip off, is he?
No, he's a top player, isn't he? But what I'm thinking is, when January does come, there might be an instance there where Liverpool will say, you know what, we're going to let Kanate go for 20.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring Gahey for the same money, say, and we'll cut our losses on Kanate, and that's done.
I think that only is a realistic situation now if we're not in a league title run. If we're not in the running for the title, the same way they did with Trent, where they were like, nah, we want to get our title sealed here, and then have a look at it.
It's a long time though between now and then.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
It's a long time. The player Kanate could still sign a new contract. That could still happen.
Yeah. But Joe Gomez isn't your long-term answer.
No, he's not. He's
God
not. But
bless
he has shown in the last couple of games that he's at it.
Yeah.
He's at it.
Yeah.
He's in good shape, Joe. And you've got Leone as well, the kid who you've invested in, and for a reason.
Massive.
They think he's going to be the next one. So you know what? Maybe there is a situation where the club get a year down the line or whatever and go, actually, we're going to put this Leone in with Van Dijk, and what we'll actually do is we'll go and sign the next Leone, who's going to be the next kid to come through. It'd be interesting to see. Jack, like, what was your overall feeling with the transfer window? We've seen a lot of players who were sort of fan favourites leave.
Yeah, the big one, like Harvey Elliott going, you just want that kid to do well, don't you? Like, you know how much he cares about it, and it was a bit unfortunate that with Harvey, because like obviously he went the England's under-21s, when he won the title, their championship in the summer, he was like the player of the tournament, and you think like, you still never looked at him and was like, that's where he fits. You know what I mean? And it's a tough one for him, because he is a very, very good footballer, but it's just how he fits in that system. And he doesn't really, and it's a shame to see him go. Diaz going's the one I'm still like, I knew he wanted his deal, and obviously the club thought what they wanted to pay and what he was worth, you know what I mean? I get all that, but Diaz for me, man, is the one I look and go, oh, would have been nice to keep a hold of him. But with the incomings, obviously, like, I think Waite is a different breed of player. It will come and it will happen. That's just is what it is. But yeah, and obviously the main man has come in now, Isak.
Let's talk about Isak.
Get into Isak.
A player who Liverpool have obviously been courting for a while.
I haven't heard anything about it, mate.
Who's Isak?
Yeah, Isak.
I mean, I think I said on the last podcast that, you know, I was confident the deal would get done. Funny enough, actually, when the news broke that Liverpool had agreed a deal with Newcastle, I did a video. I was out on my morning walk, I seen the news, and I put up a video saying, you know, Liverpool signed Isak, and what do you think, Reds? And one of the comments was Ray from the Newcastle Supporters Club. Did you see it? And he was like, how sure are you of this on a scale of Trent staying from 1 to 10? Cheeky bar, Stuart, eh?
Yeah.
But
it is just nice to have that over and done with.
Over and done with. I didn't like the way that the saga panned out. I think that there might be more information that comes out about the way the whole thing happened. And
You know what though? Like purely just on like from the player's point of view, he did all the wrong things, right? Well, supposedly he did all the wrong things. But, like from the outside looking in, obviously we don't know the full story. Like from what the club promised him about him leaving, about Liverpool wanting him, and you know what I mean. If it's Liverpool want to go and all that, but like Gahey there at Palace has been unbelievable. Like playing like he's 10 feet tall, but doing the right things about it, and then he doesn't get his move. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, like the whole idea of a player putting a transfer request in, which they don't do anymore because they lose all the money when they do it, wages and loyalties and all that. They lose all that. But yeah, the idea that it's actually better for you if you give up a fuss.
well, in this situation, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what it also suggests, doesn't it? I wonder if the relationship between Liverpool and Crystal Palace, I think, is different to Newcastle. You know, we've done quite a lot of dealings with Parish and Newcastle down the years, like Crystal Palace. You know, when you think of like the players who've gone between the clubs, there's a few.
Ben Sache, Martin Kelly. Did he go straight there? But yeah, there's been a few players, hasn't there? Yeah.
There's been a few, so you know there will be already a sort of a feeling and understanding between the two clubs, and obviously we don't have that with Newcastle United. So I wonder if that had an impact, but I do feel sorry for the player. Yeah. I do feel sorry for the player. Jack, what are you expecting from Isak? Or Isak? It's Isak, isn't it?
Isak, innit?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, man, sitting on you. It's a lot of expectation. Obviously, the Ekatike already been in it. I think Ekatike's there. I think he's unbelievable. So, yeah, the idea that we've got both of them now, and to see which one will sit in on that left hand side when need be and whatever. But no, he's got to come in and hit the ground running. But also, like, he's missed most of that pre-season, so we can't be thinking like after the international break he's going to be straight in. You know what I mean? I still don't think. I reckon it'll take a couple of games, 3 games, whatever, to bleed him into it.
Yeah,
I can't see him just like starting that first game back, which would be the derby, wouldn't it? Or the first
Burnley, and then the derby. Yeah. So my thought with it is, I think sometimes when you sign a marquee player, like a big player, my feeling with it is always just start them if you can, because also what you don't want is Liverpool playing Burnley, and there's a little bit of this little side circus going on. When's Isak going to come on? When's he going to come on? Did you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that thing of like, well, if Ekatike's not doing it, we'll drag him off after 60. But dragging a player off after 60 is not always the answer, you know? I think that Isak will be the number 9 in terms of position. I know he's got the shirt, which he looks great in. But I think he will be the number 9 predominantly. But we're in 4 competitions. Ekatike's still going to play a lot of football there.
Yeah, for sure.
From what I read, Scott Dans has actually been doing really well in the...
Jayden Dance.
Jayden Dance. Who's Scott Dans? He plays Palace, doesn't he?
He was a centre-half, weren't he, Scott Dance?
Scott Dan. Jayden Dan.
Yeah.
He's been doing really well, so he might get a bit of a chance in the cup competitions as well, a little bit with the pressure off. Chiesa's been doing well, but I do expect Ekatike to play quite a lot from the left. You know, like we'll talk about the fancy football, but Cody Gakpo is on that left at the minute, and I'm thinking about taking both him and Ekatike out of my team because I think they're going to rotate.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
like Gakpo and Diaz would have done before last season. So I think Ekatike will play more from the left, which he sort of likes to do anyway.
Yeah.
As a 9. So I said on our social video, Jack, I think Liverpool have signed this lad Isak because they think he's going to be a 30-goal man. Like Brian said, not Brian, Joel.
Yeah.
He said, it's a big statement. But I think that's what we've signed him to be.
Yeah.
We've signed him to be not a like for like replacement, but a goal threat
for sure.
replacement for Salah in a way as a 9.
Also, like, we have got as speaking of Brian, what he said earlier about Salah with the deal since he got his contract, like, we can't still continue to put so much faith in him that he's gonna win us all the games. You know what I mean? Like, he is getting on. Like, it would, that Arsenal game there, for example, someone goes down, we win a penalty, he's taking the penalty, he's the match winner, isn't he? But the game's not like that. And I don't know how good he is at free kicks from long range. But yeah, I think it's preparing for life after Salah. Yeah. So it's getting us, the players, in the ages of them and whatever. I think TK's 22, and Isaac's 25 or whatever, so it's just preparing.
I think if Liverpool go and win big trophies this year, Mo Salah is going to be the key to that.
Yeah.
But what I think we now have in Isak is a genuine player who, when things aren't quite working, you're going, we've got Isak. Like we would with Jota. You've got Jota on the pitch, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
And I think Isak's that sort of player where I am expecting a big season. I am expecting a big season. So we'll see what happens with that, Jack.
Get us into the fantasy, Tom.
I will, but just a second, I just wanted to we asked people what they thought of the transfer window. Keith Salmon.
Yeah.
By the way, I was talking to Keith and I said, so we did a podcast with Keith. He was, he's a Scouser. He lives in the Isle of Man now, but he's been all around Europe at Liverpool. Go back and, if you haven't seen it,
very good. It's in the archives. Give it a listen.
Go back and listen to the Keith Salmon episode. But I was talking to Keith and I said, we put you in the trivia this week. And he was like, yeah. And he went, you know what? I was buzzing that Jack got the answer right so quickly.
Oh,
yeah, he was buzzing. He was buzzing. Yeah. So, yeah, something that the cop wants you to know. Go and have a look at it. But he said, we asked how the transfer window went, and he went, laughing emoji. The window's been open that long. Flo, Kerkez, Hugo, Frimpong are all due testimonials. Any more to be greedy. Feels like the transfer window's gone on forever. Adam Matthews says, happy. I still can't believe it. Ecstatic. We're all in that boat. Fucking hell, mate. Welcome to the party. We completely agree. So people are absolutely buzzing. And before we go on to that fancy football, Jack, Liverpool spent £446 million, but sales meant that we had a net spend of £218 million. So remind any Arsenal fan who flags how much money we've spent, because they have a net spend of over £40 million more than Liverpool in the window. And they've let like a couple of... Madueke went for 50 million, but then Kiwor and Zinchenko have left the club, and they weren't really playing anyway, were they? Let's be honest. Just before we move on, give us a rating out of 10 of our transfer window.
8.
That's pretty good, eh?
Yeah, I think it's 8. I think 8 in the sense that it's mad to see us spending this amount of money. And yeah, 8. We're not going to do it again for 5 years, but 8. Yeah, I give it 8. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think I would go 8 as well. I think that the players that we brought in are quality, and I think they're going to make a big difference. I think that we've, where possible, have improved the team and the options available. Probably if we would have got Gay here, and that would have pushed it up to a 9.
Yeah.
And there's also elements of players leaving who we both liked as well. But yeah, I think 8 is probably fair enough. Jack, fancy football. We've got the Reds down under league. Currently still top is Louis Johnson.
John Ola.
The Socceroos.
Yeah. How many points did he gain?
Well, this is it, Jack. He only got 49 this week, but he's top still on 205. But he's got Ligma FC. Ligma Nuts. That's what his name, like Ligma Nuts. Daniel is there. He's closely behind, as is Corey. How you doing, Corey? Good to see you there, mate. But this week, yeah, the scores were very much shared out. Everyone was sort of getting a not dissimilar sort of score.
The big rig sort of team, Holt?
Let's have a look. No.
Well, enjoy Liverpool, lads.
he had a stronger week.
Did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He had a stronger week. Hey, look, in another 3 games, he could have 3 cracking weeks, and he could be right up in the mix. Me.
Where are you, Tomo?
Return of the King. I got 47 points this week, which is pretty good in terms of the average of the group. I'm up to 13th place, 168 points. So I'm already like 50 points behind top. It's a long old season.
Yeah.
You don't win nothing
3 weeks
in September. So that's the fancy football, Jack. People are doing all right. Who else is down the bottom there? Rodney needs to kick on as well. He's second bottom. Manacan, he needs to kick on. But it is a long old season, Jack Hughes. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Jack, we're going to play the episode that we were talking about. So it's a special about Rafa Benítez. So was Rafa for you like the first big coach?
He was my first manager, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. First one. Because I can't remember much about Hugo, but Rafa would have been my first manager. But yeah. So thank you for joining us, and then enjoy this episode coming up now.
Yeah.
Little bonus for you.
Our kid's getting married next year. The Reds are getting fit. Jack, Weekend Pilates.
Weekend Pilates, is that based in Croydon, Sydney?
Based in Croydon, Sydney. Kathleen, you know the one?
Kathleen?
Yeah, so they've got a Pilates studio, which is stunning. Images up on the screen right now. Bang. Have a look at that. See that bit of machine? Don't know what it is, but it's good for you.
You could be on that.
Yeah, you could be on that. Jack Mo Salah does Pilates. It's very different now than what I think people used to think about it. Pilates is for everyone. We've got the summer coming up. Everyone wants to get in shape a little bit, don't they?
Everyone wants to get in the swimmers, looking great, winking at people. How are you?
All right.
How are you?
All right, princess.
How'd you get that body?
Yeah.
Don't you worry about it, mate.
Yeah.
I'm married.
I went to Weekend Pilates, that's what they'll say.
Pilates in Croydon, Sydney.
And if you quote Reds Down Under, you get a 10% discount on a 5 and 10 pack bundle.
Wow.
Now, Jack, it's not just like it's not just like classes with like 15 people in it.
Yeah. But you go in and feel like a knobhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing it, right?
You got the wrong socks on and all that. You feel like an idiot. But it's private and semi-private sessions.
Yeah.
So you reach out to Kathleen. We'll put the email address and the social media at the bottom of the page so people can see it.
At Weekend Pilates and weekendpilates.com.au.
Let's talk about Rafa the Gaffa.
Yeah.
We got him, Wayne, in 2004 off the back of Gerard Houllier.
Yes.
What can you remember about that time, mate? Because it had been a difficult period, hadn't it?
Yeah,
Towards the end of that Houllier reign.
It had been. I mean, look, I had a lot of love for Gerard Houllier. God bless his soul. But time was right for him to move on. And I remember there were rumblings about Rafa. I remember there was also some slight rumours about Mourinho joining as well. And I think maybe some of us were obviously more excited about that. I mean, we only really knew about Rafa, I guess, from Valencia, but obviously he had won the La Liga with Valencia, and which is, pretty incredible when you think about it, given the strength of Barcelona and Madrid during that time too. But I do remember reading, I guess in hindsight, how I think Carragher and Gerrard were pulled in, and they were asked by either it was David Moore, or I can't remember who was the owner at the club at the time, or Rick Parry, saying, who do we get? And they said Benitez, because I remember we played Valencia in Europe the season prior, and we couldn't get the ball off them. We were just chasing shadows. So when he did sign, I think there was excitement, because I think we knew we were getting someone tactically really, really good. And I think also the fact that, we were getting someone from the continent again. and this time Spanish because Spain was all the rage, of course, around that time as well, leading up to that. So, yeah, exciting times, and sad to see Gerard Julia go. And but yeah, we were ready for the fresh start, and I think we tactically, sort of, we knew tactically we were going to come a lot more tighter. So yeah, good times, very exciting times.
I remember when Rafa came in, obviously, as you say, that game against Valencia, we couldn't get near them, could we? I think they beat us
No.
2-0, did they?
Yeah, yes, if I
But
remember right.
they absolutely wiped the floor with us.
Mm.
But they were a tough team.
Yeah.
They were a strong team.
Yes.
But they had plenty of flair. I think they
Mm.
had Mendieta, I think, was in there at the
That's
time
right.
for Valencia. Was I think my memory might be serving me wrong here, but they had they didn't have Morientes, did they? I think I've made that up, haven't I?
I'm just having a look. Hang on, I'm using Google. It's right. I'm trying to remember the squad. But this was in the Champions League in 2002, 2003 season, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been,
So
yeah.
I thought Morientes, because didn't he win the Champions League at Madrid in 2003?
Yeah,
Did they win it in 2003?
he was no Milan
Milan.
won it in 2003 in Old Trafford.
Yeah, that's
But
right, yeah.
but Morientes had been loaned out a bit as well at that point. Have you got it up there, Wayne?
yeah, they had Cadu up front, Aymar, Vicente, Baraja. Forgive my pronunciation about this. Albeda, Ayala, and Pellegrino, who, if I remember right, came and played with us. If that's
Yeah, he
right.
did. Centre back.
Canizares, yeah, Canizares in goal. Just trying to think who else. I mean, if you even look at
Quick.
our side, we were pretty decent.
Yeah, we would have had some decent players there at that time. But Canizares was the Valencia goalie. Remember
That's
him?
Yeah.
right.
With the white hair.
Yeah.
And he was going to the World Cup with Spain. And I think at that time he was dueling with Casillas for the number 1 spot. Or the World Cup or the Euros. Maybe it was 2004, the Euros. And he dropped a bottle of aftershave just before the World Cup and missed it. On his foot. Sorry. He dropped it on his foot.
Oh my God.
He dropped it on his
I
foot.
thought that was like a euphemism or
Oh,
something.
no, he dropped a bottle of aftershave on
Well,
his foot.
you know what he got up to? Dropped a bottle of aftershave, didn't he?
What have you been up to? Can't tell you, but all I can say is dropped a bottle of aftershave today.
Well, it's interesting looking at our lineup. Sorry, I don't want to digress, but just very quickly, we had obviously a lot of Julio signings still in there. Obviously, it was Julio as a coach, but Heskey, Diouf, Diao, Murphy was still playing.
Yeah, Danny Murphy, yeah.
Even on the bench, we had Bruno Charroux, Dale,
Bruno-
Salif Down. Gosh,
I
far
liked
out.
Bruno. I liked Bruno Cheru. He had them
Very
white.
much.
He wore them white Preds he scored against Chelsea at the bridge.
We had Paddy Berger, Michael Owen on the bench as well.
I think Patrick Berger
Wow.
could be my biological father.
Yeah, he might be.
Looking at
mightn't he?
pictures, yeah.
Yeah, he can't wear white
There it
t-shirts
is.
You
either.
can't-
I'm not going to unsee that anymore now. There you go.
So let's
But-
get back
yes,
to the Gaffa.
Yes, let's get back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get back. One of the things that stood out to me straight away, when a manager comes in, sometimes you get these players who they bring in, and you go, yeah, he's a bit of all right. This guy sort of dialed in. Xabi Alonso, I think, was one of the big ones.
With his Lego haircut when he came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you look at that man now, like, he's so well groomed and so handsome.
Oh,
isn't
he is.
And when he came into Liverpool, he just had this
Block.
square head, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how old was he when he joined us? He would have been about early 20s, like 23, 24.
23, I
Around
was
that.
thinking, yeah.
And that was a coup, I think, because I think at that time, Xabi was getting looked at by a couple of clubs.
That's right.
But I think so was Rafa. You were talking there that, you know, there was a bit of talk about Mourinho at that time. And I think Liverpool were lucky to get Rafa because Man United had Alex Ferguson,
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir Alex.
Yeah. Arsenal
Yeah.
had Wenger.
Arsenal had
Yeah.
Wenger, and they were winning.
Yeah.
They were like thriving.
Yeah.
In fact, they were just about to come into their Invincibles year, weren't they?
That's right.
And And Chelsea were going to get the money, so they were going to get Mourinho, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
I think, like. So we get Rafa, and like, he was unbelievable to get him in. And then obviously, like, we get like Louis Garcia,
Yes.
who I'm sure we did sign from Valencia. I bet we didn't now.
No.
No. I reckon Garcia. Hang on.
He drinks sangria.
He
He
does.
came from Barca.
Barcelona.
Barca.
Yeah.
He came from Barca to bring good
I
joy.
thought it was Barcelona.
He was like, he drinks sangria.
He does play for Valencia.
He's 5'7".
Yeah.
Yeah. We got him from Barca. Yep.
But the what was quite clear in that time, and I think it's something that Rafa's spoken about since, is how tight a budget he was on at Liverpool. And let's not forget as well, he walks in the door, new club, your star striker goes to Real Madrid. Michael Owen goes to Real Madrid.
Yep.
And he was the star striker.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some decent players there. We had Tribil Cisse, Milan Baros. So they weren't bad players, don't get me wrong. But they had nothing on Michael Owen.
No, exactly.
So Wayne, like, looking back at that time, I know it's easy to sort of, like, what was the feeling for you? What do you think the feeling was for the fan base? Did we think that this was going to be a big change of the tide, or was it literally like well, he's done well in the past, let's just sit and wait, let's see how this one goes?
No, I think the fact that he had won La Liga, we thought, oh, we've actually got a title winner here, and we've got someone who's tactically really good. So I wouldn't say we necessarily felt we were going to win the title, but I felt we would be far more consistent and probably a lot more competitive. There was genuine excitement around that. And I think within the first few games, you could see tactically how much, not just even our setup, but just how we played. That control, that calm, which, interesting enough, is what we're seeing, what I saw last season with Slot as well. That kind, the ability, I guess, to kind of, score a goal or two and then shut up shop. And Rafa was fantastic at that. Just basically saying, okay, we've done enough now. That's it. Let's just close the game off and don't give him a sniff. Obviously, I think there was all the rumblings around Owen going were a bit of a distraction. And I think also we kind of knew it was coming. So that was probably the big disappointment. And yeah, let's be honest, when we didn't really have anything as far as a replacement. I'll be honest, I knew a little bit about Garcia. Alonso, maybe just not so much. Didn't really watch a lot of La Liga, obviously, back then. Like, I guess maybe we can keep up with it now. But I think the feeling was good. I think the feeling was really there was excitement, genuine excitement. I think some people though maybe felt that if could we have gotten Jose? But I mean, the whole Mourinho things, I don't know how serious those rumors actually were. I think maybe from his perspective, he probably did want to coach us. I think he's even admitted that he always wanted to. But no, I think we got a brilliant coach, and I think we needed that because as last season, tactically, we were just kind of all over shop, and even the players said that he had lost confidence in his own ability. But so yeah, very very exciting times.
It's interesting you say that way. No, I was just thinking then about Mourinho. The only time where we'd be a good option for Mourinho would be now.
No,
No. I mean, not for the Mourinho of now, but like 2004 Mourinho coming from Porto. Like the money we're spending now. Like we haven't the 20 years, the 21 years in that time period. It wouldn't have worked out because he is a quintessential checkbook manager, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he is.
And to take a team that are already winning, like we'd be a Mourinho dream, a wet dream for Mourinho now.
But like, people talk about checkbook managers, and we say it as a bit of a slight, don't we?
Yeah.
But if you look at Jose Mourinho was the manager of Chelsea, and they spent so much money at that time, right?
Yeah.
They were buying all the best young players in the league and across Europe. Like, you know, you look at like
Damien Duff.
And Sean Wright Phillips, both heavily linked to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Went to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, where I'll sort of defend Mourinho, because I will admit this on the podcast, I am a closet Jose Mourinho fan.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, you know what I like about him, Wayne? I just like that the man doesn't care, but that he wins.
Yeah, no,
And
exactly.
I love that, man. I love it.
I love it too. And you know, this is going to sound strange, like comparison, because they're completely different people, but it just reminded me a little bit of Kenny Dalglish as well. He'll just speak what's on his mind, and he doesn't make any apologies for the fact that he puts his club and the people of that club first. And you know, if you look in hindsight, he used to do that with Chelsea. All right, he would defend him to the hill, and that's why now, I guess, in hindsight, you know, we hated him at the time and some of the stuff that he used to say about us, but it was just all just to give him an edge to win. And yeah, different circumstances, different times. Him as a coach, I think he would have been amazing. But anyway, getting back onto Rafa, I was just going to say, you mentioned something before, Tom, about just the budget, and that's something I'll put in the notes about just Rafa's signings, because I think. Given, I think maybe there's a bit of a, and even I had this idea in my head that a lot of Rafa's signings weren't necessarily good, but I started writing them down and listing them. And if you look at, I guess, what he had at his disposal budget-wise, he brought in some incredible players, ones that were not just even necessarily established, but turn them into world-class players, and you know, but got some absolute rippers. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, just rip off some names here, all right?
Yeah, go on,
We
man.
Rip them off, man.
So, I mean, look,
Drop
obviously
the
the big one.
drop the
Here we go.
aftershave, Wayne. Do it, man.
All right, Fernando Torres. All right, well, there's a name in itself. Okay, you know, Xabi Alonso, Garcia, Reina, Pepe Reina, got Mascherano, you know, Maxi Rodriguez, Dirk Kuyt, Peter Crouch, Craig Bellamy. You know, and some of these weren't massive deals. Some of these were like almost, you know, opportunistic. I mean, if you look at Mascherano, that was a, you know, if I remember right, him and Tevez were on loan. No, they were at West Ham on loan, weren't they? And then we kind of took
Yeah.
them on loan, and then we bought Mascherano, if I remember right. But some other names as well that I guess maybe didn't necessarily reach their peak, but were still did some good stuff for us. You know, like, you know, Ryan Babel, Momo Sissoko. I said Craig Bellamy as well. I think Rafa was very good at getting players either on a free or on the cheap that potentially were maybe, you know, looking for a career change or just trying to lift their career and maybe giving a little bit more. But then obviously, you know, there was the duds, but every manager has them. I mean, you know, you look at Aquilani and Keane and Voronin, but I think a lot of them were just, you know, symptoms of the fact you didn't have a budget. I mean, I remember there was times when we were playing David Ngog, or whatever his name was. I can never pronounce his surname. Up front when Torres was injured. So I think our first 11 was pretty good when it was really, really good, but we obviously never really had that depth and that's just simply a sign of the fact that he didn't have the transfer kitty to really go out and get who he wanted. I remember there was those links with David Villa, although some people say they were just rumors, but you know, we were all self-thinking about that.
We were.
Oh.
Genuinely, that one with David Villa, it was just like, and then obviously because he went from Valencia to Barca, didn't he?
That's right. Yes.
And then when he did that, and you were just like, we could, like, look, could we have got him? I don't know, but the idea of having the Spain, who were the best nation,
Yes.
the best footballing nation at the time, so the idea of having the two of them together at Liverpool just would have been magic.
Yeah.
Because they felt like a real, and Rafa implemented this, they felt like a real Spanish, like, kinship with us, didn't they? Like, genuinely, like, I remember watching, it could have been that Euros, was that Euro 2008? When Villa played the whole tournament, got injured, and Torres scored the winner against
Germany. Yes. Yep.
and I remember just like supporting Spain because of Rafa and all the Spanish players he'd brought in. So
Yes.
like the David Villa one, that was always something that just felt like,
Yeah.
I'd love to know if it was ever close to happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love to know if it was serious.
me too. Me too. We might never know, never know. All I know is, from what I read, is that Barca came in, offered a lot more money, and then they just said, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but he got some amazing players, and players that you know did some amazing things for us. I mean, obviously when you think about Rafa, the first thing that comes to your mind is obviously Istanbul, and everyone will say that, but I like to think there's lots of other things as well. And it's just, if writing down that list, we had some amazing, you know, not just skillful players, but tough as well. I loved it when we signed Mascherano, because he's he was the epitome for me as the, like uh the, the quintessential kind of Argentinian player, tough as nails, relentless but skillful. And he was great. And Pepe Reina, like for all the Dudek's heroics in Istanbul, like Reina was a big upgrade. There was probably a time when Reina was probably in the top, 5 or 3 goalies in the world when he was with us. So, and that's the other thing too. He brought I just realized I forgot another big name on there. Did he sign Daniel Agger, or was that a Houllier signing? I can't
No,
remember.
that would have been a Rafa
That
signing.
was Rafa, yeah.
Yeah.
From Bromby, was it?
Yeah, Bromby.
And,
That would have been 2007.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think so. Because
2007, yeah.
Yeah.
do you know, I distinctly remember the game where it was almost like a handing over of the guard, because we were losing 4-1 at home to Chelsea. And I remember I was at the Supporters Club, the old Celtic club in Melbourne, and we were watching it. And he brought on Agger to replace Hoopier, who was clearly, struggling in that game. And it was almost like a changing of the guard. But, like Daniel Agger's another one who was a great signing when he was fit. But I guess that's the other thing too, is that under Rafa, our defense really, like, we weren't leaky. We were just very solid. And you knew once we went 1 or 2-0 up, that was it. He would probably finish that scoreline. He'd just shut up shop, do what needs to be done. Very pragmatic, tactical, and conservative football. So yeah, good stuff, man. Really good stuff.
This is a Reds Down Under announcement for all supporters. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on TikTok, Facebook and Instagram, give us a review on Spotify, Apple and Amazon. Thank you. Yeah, I think like there's a couple of things that you've said which I think is really interesting, because I wanted to touch on it, because Rafa, known as a really pragmatic manager. And if you look at some of the players so when you think of a pragmatic manager, you think of a solid fullback.
Yeah.
Two solid fullbacks, right?
Yeah.
And it was that sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you look at the right hand side as an example, you had players like Steve Finnan at the start, who was solid defensively, but would bomb forward and get the ball in the box.
Yes.
Arbeloa, a more solid player, less interested in getting in the box, but absolutely solid. And I think his debut was against Barcelona. He played left back.
Correct. I think that's
And
right.
True, yeah.
And he marked
after Nou Camp, wasn't it?
He marked Messi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Messi kept cutting in on his left, and Arbeloa was already on his right. But then, we were heavily linked with Dani Alves, a player who would have been bombing down the right. So, and then we signed Glenn Johnson, a player accustomed to bombing down the right. So, over that period, Rafa was never rigid in the sense that he had to play this way, and that was the way he wanted to play. He was always adapting and changing that style depending on the players he had. And I think one of the big moments, I think, in Rafa's tenure was that Alonso didn't go when maybe he should have. Now, I love Alonso, but I think there was a window there for Rafa to maybe get Barry and Keane and that was going to define the way we played.
Yeah.
Because he was going to have Barry in there, sitting in there with Stevie. Stevie would have a bit of free license to play. Robbie would play in behind Torres. And that sort of went out the window.
That's right.
A little bit. And I think that had actually a long-standing effect on Rafa's reign. There's some of the signings that you mentioned there. Pepe Reina, I think, was one of the greatest goalkeepers to play for Liverpool. You know, I think he won 2 Golden Globes.
Forgot Lucas Leiva.
Lucas Leiva,
Lucas Leiva, yeah.
yeah.
What a player. So, look, some of the signings were brilliant. Some of them were not so brilliant. But I think that's the thing with him, with Rafa, is from our experience anyway, we can see that. Like, let's just say, for example, if they'd sold Stevie
to
Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
Now we look at that and go, you know, at the time it would have been, 25, 30 million or something.
Yeah.
And that would have been huge at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Rafa would have been going, okay, but if Stevie goes, I fancy a bit of him, and I fancy a bit of him, and I'm going to get 3 players who are going to play in this team, who are going to play exactly the way I want them to. And we'll be all right. And it'd be really interesting because we'd never know this answer, because even if someone asked him, he'd never be honest about it. But I'd love to know, really, at that time, was Rafa with the club or was Rafa with the player? Because we'll come and talk about that Istanbul season. But just after Istanbul season, it looks like Steven Gerrard might go to Chelsea. Now, Rafa Benítez was decidedly very quiet on the whole thing. And the club were obviously in a little bit of a contract thing with Steven Gerrard at the time. And I don't care what anyone says, a manager at a football club at that level has influence on what's going on in that club.
Yep.
And it'd be interesting to know, like, truly hand on heart, was Rafa in there, there's no way you can sell this player. There's no way we can let this player go. Or was Rafa, again, a bit more pragmatic about it and going, you know what, if the player moves on, then maybe there is this, Gareth Barry would have been younger then, but there is this Gareth Barry who I fancy, and there's this player and there's this player.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that season, 2004-2005.
Yeah.
Yes.
Liverpool finished 5th that year. In a decidedly disappointing year where Everton finished above us.
Yeah.
Hilariously, Everton would finish above us, finish in the top 4, but then fail to qualify for the Champions League because they get knocked out by Villarreal.
Yeah.
That's all right.
They were robbed.
Yeah.
They were robbed.
Yeah, the champions had to go in the competition.
Yeah.
It was the first time ever that the champions hadn't qualified.
Yeah, first time
right.
ever. But leading up to that Champions League win in Istanbul, Liverpool, Wayne, Jack, were so good in the Champions League.
And so poor in the league.
So poor in the league.
Yeah.
That game against Olympiacos, where we come back after Rivaldo scores a free kick, was just unbelievable, wasn't it? And the gaffer in that game had rolled his dice.
Yep.
He brought Neil Mellor on.
Neil Mellor, cult
Right.
hero.
Yeah, he brought Neil Mellor on
Yeah.
in an attacking play. Bit of presence.
Yep.
He brought Cinema Pongo on. And both those players had big effects on the game. Steven Gerrard scores an absolute screamer. And Andy Gray's hat falls off, right?
Yeah, he dropped to the aftershave.
Yeah, Andy Gray off the aftershave. Liverpool go through, and I remembered the game coming up against Juventus. I can't remember who we beat before Juventus. Was it Leverkusen? Can anyone remember?
No. Yes, there was Leverkusen, Juventus. There was
Well, Juventus was the quarter, wasn't it, Wayne?
yeah.
So Chelsea was the semi.
Chelsea was the semi.
it was Leverkusen. It was Leverkusen.
So Liverpool go and beat Leverkusen, and I can't. You know what? Can't even tell you what happened in that game. Got no recollection of that game. I can't even remember if it was Leverkusen.
I remember there was a 3-1 win, but I can't remember.
I was about to say, I just know it was 3-1.
Okay, it was 3-1.
It was 3-1.
Liverpool beat No Marks FC, right? To get through to the quarterfinals. Now, this game, so the Liverpool go and win the game 2-0 at Anfield. Sami Hyypiä scores a volley. And then Louis Garcia, the ball comes over and drops and he smashes it with a bit of bend. Beats Buffon. Unbelievable. Now,
what's the name? Just very quickly, I've got to just cut in on this. Who provided the assist for Garcia? I can't remember his name. Letalac, the French kid. Remember? The one that
was Letalac playing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the kid. He's the guy that basically does the pass and gets injured in the process, if I remember, or something to Toulouse Garcia. I think it's the only really good thing that kid ever did.
Anthony Letalac, yeah.
Well, thank you, Letalac.
Yeah, if you're living in Melbourne listening to this podcast, welcome to Reds Down Under. You're welcome here. Actually, talking about weird facts, we've got some Rafa trivia later.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that, everyone.
Cool.
Letalac, you stay.
We'll see how the boys do against each other. Written by ChatGPT. Yeah. Cool. So I've asked them to be hard this week because last time you got 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
And Max called me and he went, I thought your Jack's questions were easier than mine. And I thought, right.
Nailed down on this.
We're not having this anymore. So the away game in Turin. And I remember United had played in Turin a couple of years earlier in the Champions League. And I remember watching it, just amazed by the DLP.
That's right.
Amazed by it. Like, that was a football stadium I wanted to go to. You know me, I've got stadium porn, haven't I? Like, I'm obsessed with stadiums. And I was like, I always wanted to go to the Alpi. And
you had the shirt from that season, didn't you?
I had the Juve shirt.
Yeah.
And Rafa's tactical performance in that game was just absolutely just second to none. And I seen him talking recently about it. And he was talking about Xabi had just came back after injury. He'd been out for a month.
That's right. Gerrard was out, if I remember right. Gerrard didn't play, if I remember right, in that game.
Oh, really? Gerrard
I'm pretty
was out?
sure, because I remember Alonso coming back, and I think Igor Biscan. Maybe I'm getting confused. I'm pretty sure that's right. You continue anyway, Tom. I'll confirm that.
I think you're right. I think Gerrard missed the game in that run-in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did.
And I think you might be right. I think Igor did play. But the Reds played there in Turin and they were just solid. Absolutely solid. Juve came close. They hit the post. I think Zlatan did like a flick, like a Cruyff flick, hit the post. He was playing for Juve at the time. And you think of that Juve team, Nedved, Del Piero, Buffon.
Trezeguet in that team?
Trezeguet, Thuram, Cannavaro.
Zlatan.
Yeah, man, Zlatan.
Nedved. You should see their starting lineup. I'm looking at it. It's terrifying.
It's echo in it.
Sorry, man. Terrifying. And I was right. Gerrard didn't play that game. Gerrard didn't.
Wow. But Xabi played, and I remember it was a big deal because it was the first time Liverpool had travelled to Turin since Heysel.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Since
yes.
Heysel, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of the PR from the clubs was about friendship and
yes.
And I don't, if you remember this, I had one of them. Remember them rubber armbands everyone used to wear for different charities? Well, they had one.
The Livestrong ones and
anti-bullying. Gerrard used to wear that blue anti-bullying one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this one was a Liverpool Juventus one. And they were rare as anything, but I had one.
Yeah.
I bought it in school.
Rare as anything, but every school in Liverpool had them.
No, they were rare. They were rare, like.
Yeah.
I wonder where that is. That'll be somewhere there.
Yeah.
I reckon I know what was on that too. It probably said it's got that Italian saying which is in friendship, in memoria, in amicizia. I'm not pronouncing it right, like in memory and in friendship. If I remember right, that's what.
I think you're right. I think I'm a bit slow on my Latin, but I reckon you might be right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to get out of that game and to go through, unbelievable. Absolutely, absolutely unbelievable. I think we created like one chance in the game, big chance. I think Cisse went in and missed from memory. But then we go through, we play Chelsea. Can you remember much of that game? You were little.
Not really.
Wow.
To be truthfully honest, this is the year I really started watching the game because I just started playing footy then as well.
Yeah.
The first leg I don't remember very much of.
No, and to be honest, I think I've got like second-hand memories more from watching it back now than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That night, Wayne.
The second leg or the first leg, Tom?
Well, the first leg.
I don't
We were
remember hardly anything. I don't remember anything about it.
We were just solid.
Yeah.
We were just solid, I think, at the bridge. I think Chelsea were throwing everything at us at the bridge, and we were solid. Rafa's low block. We come back to Anfield, and I wasn't at the game, but I watched it on the TV, and it was just like bedlam watching it. The ball gets played in to Milan Baros. He flicks it over Petr Cech, and Cech wipes him out, and the ball bounces towards the line. Just as the ball bounces on the line, over the line, I think William Gallas clears the ball away, and the referee gives a goal.
That's
Now,
right.
my thought on that, Wayne, I don't know about you, was the goal was great, but a penalty and a red card would have killed Chelsea anyway, surely.
Yeah, and that's always the argument. They can argue about the ghost goal all they want, but the fact is it would have been a red card, a penalty, and even if we didn't score, they would have played for 10 men for the game. So yeah, it was written in the stars. What a game. Unbelievable. I'm there's some games where you can remember all the details, where you were, what you were doing. And I remember exactly where I was because I was in my bedroom when I was living at Port Melbourne. I was tucked in bed watching it, but by the end of the game, I was literally sitting on the end of my bed watching this in panic. Because it's probably still the most intense final 10 minutes of a game I have ever witnessed. And I mean, we'll probably get to it. You know what I'm going to come to, that last chance for Chelsea, which,
That
we'll talk. Oh,
No, go on, get into it. Am I right? Was it Idaker Johnson?
It was
Idaker Johnson. It was Johnson.
And
he smashes the ball.
I know. And you know what? In all honesty, I've watched that, and I think it was easier for him to score or just put it on target because I don't think Reina wouldn't have got there because Reina, Dudek wouldn't have got there.
I was going to say, Reina wouldn't have got there because he was still sunning it up in Villarreal or whatever he was.
No, but it's just because and there was a sea of players everywhere, but he just had this direct sign, and I remember that he just shoots and it just whirls past the far post, and I'm just going and you're going, oh my gosh! And I remember everyone my heart sank because I thought it's going in, it missed, and I went, get out of town. I said, oh my god, it's one of those games where you can still watch it, and I still think it's going to go in. But that was a crazy game. That was just so intense, that game. Like you said, I wasn't there. Obviously, I was here, but everyone says it's still probably the best night as far as atmosphere that they've ever experienced on a European night at Anfield. Incredible result, and I think the fact that it was, we had a lot of tight battles against Chelsea during Mourinho and Rafa's reign.
Yeah.
There was never really, maybe one or two kind of were, a bit more one-sided, but a lot of them was tight games. And this, across two legs, to not only keep a clean sheet, but to score a goal too against them. I mean, they were a brilliant side. They were an amazing side.
Tom, do you remember the commentator? What he said after it?
Can you remember?
Something like, do you know what it is?
I don't have no idea what
it's
you're talking about.
I'm gonna butcher this, but it's like Liverpool's European royalty dream continues.
Yes, I do
something
remember
like
that.
Something
I
like
do
that.
remember that. Yeah.
I do.
Well, let's let's. By the way, before we fast forward onto the greatest comeback in a European Cup final, one thing I would like to mention is a huge element of luck from our Polish goalkeeper Yeti Dudek, because in that Idago Johnson moment, the ball gets played into the box, and I always felt Yeti was selective, but quite good at coming for crosses. And Yeti comes out and he just absolutely flaps at it.
Yeah.
Throws a flappy glove at it. It goes nowhere. Idago Johnson drops the aftershave. Now, we go through Istanbul. Istanbul is full of mosques. Kebabs and Scousers was the song.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And it was mad. And talk about like being culturally inappropriate.
I don't know what you're going to say.
All the kids, we all had fezzes.
We all were wearing fezzes, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had the badge, the liver
Yeah,
bird
the little
on it.
liver bird on, yeah.
Fez.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know your name, but your Fez is familiar. Anyway, so Istanbul, greatest night ever. We watched it in Bootle.
In St. Monica's
In the Monies, yeah.
in the club.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And we watched it with me dad, me auntie Jan, and
We had a chippy tea.
we had the chippy tea, George Jerry's, and obviously the game doesn't start too well. The big lad at the back, what's his name? Left
Sammy?
back.
No, left back.
Jimmy Traore.
Yes.
Jimmy Traore gives away a foul, and the ball gets whipped in. Maldini scores a volley. Never seen this guy score a volley before, by the way, Maldini.
I know.
And it was right-footed. And he was left-footed. Anyway, the game goes on. AC Milan are pulling us apart. Harry Kewell drops the aftershave, and Harry comes off injured. And I mean, let's get to 3-0. Wayne, where was your head at with that, mate? Because mine was up my arse.
You know, I'm going to be, I know this is going to sound stupid and silly, and I think it was just all the emotion of that night. Actually, just very quickly, I've got to say this because it's pretty important. That night actually was the birth of the Melbourne Liverpool supporters group, because that's when me and my friends all met at the Celtic Club, and I think we agreed after that, let's form an official group. But there was about probably 500 of us in that pub, and
It was nearly the AC Milan Melbourne supporters group.
it was crazy because it's like I had this mentality. I thought, you know what, I just want us to show a little bit of respect on that scoreline in the second half. If we can get a goal or two back and just give them a contest, all right, you know, they're a great team, all right. And I thought I'd seen that Milan side pick apart Barcelona when they were meant to lose, and they picked them apart 4-0. I thought this could turn into like a 6-0 or 7-0 rout if we're not careful. So I was really kind of, like despondent. I went outside the pub, just get a bit of fresh air. And funnily enough, I bumped into this guy, Rodney.
Bumped in to see my ham, and he went, "What are you doing here? Go and get on the pitch."
But bumped into someone who I didn't know would become a really good friend of mine, who we'd meet again years later in Adelaide. Rodney, if you listen, mate, this is for you. But I said, I think, we're going to. He says, no, mate. He says, no, we're going to win. I said, you're crazy. He goes, no. He says, we're going to come back. He just knew. And he's calling his old man, basically overseas, saying, no, Dad, don't go to sleep. Get up. You got to watch this game. We're going to come back. Got to come back. And
you must have thought, Rodney, you plonker.
Yeah.
I still do, but I love the guy. But no, he was bang on the money. And I think when Gerard, obviously, obviously the mood, there was a lot of anger in that pub. A few glasses were thrown at the screen, but that's another story.
Oh, wow.
Not by us, but I think when Gerard scored, I thought, oh, good. Okay, we're showing a bit of fight. Okay, that's good. We're showing a bit of fight, and we'll give them a bit of a game now. Maybe they might score again. Maybe we might score. Who knows? But at least now we're going to be a bit more competitive. I actually felt that first half was an unfair scoreline on us in some respects. We should have had a penalty. I feel there was a handball, and then they went up down the other end and scored.
Yeah. Did Crespo go up the other end and score?
I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was for
Yeah.
number 2 when they made it 2-0. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So I guess, so the mood kind of lifted a little bit, and obviously, we'll segue into what obviously happens next. You know, basically, Smitscher then gets the second. Uh, what's his name? Bless him. Is it Dida, the Milan goalie? He had an absolute shocker. Let's be honest. He was terrible for some of the, especially Smith's guy. I thought, come on, man, that was telegraphed from a mile away, and I thought you can't get down that line. But anyway, I'm not complaining. And then, Gerard obviously gets the penalty. And I've heard so many rival fans say he dived. And I said, you know what? Look at Gattuso's reaction. All right. Gattuso who fouls him. And if you know Gattuso's personality, the guy wouldn't have just given up so easy. He knew he fouled him. It was a penalty. And, then obviously Zabi has his penalty save and hits the rebound, and it was delirium. It was absolutely insane in that pub. I'm sure it was the same for you guys. Like, we're thinking, what the hell is this? This doesn't happen. And it's not because it just doesn't happen in football, but this was Milan. Like, that side was full of, like world-class players, some of the best, and, pound for pound is probably maybe the best starting 11 in the world at the time. So to do that, and this is no offense to our side, but if you look at some of the players on our team, we had some very good players, but we had some pretty bang average players as well. So
If you just look at the two lineups and like before the game, and you look at them in their kits,
That lovely white Adidas kit, yeah.
they look
Like a winner.
I know.
like a superstar winning. You know what I mean? They're just Ferraris all over the pitch, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they looked
Yeah.
like
And they had-
Roman emperors or something.
Yeah, 100%.
They were.
Like,
Yeah.
like they were conquerors coming.
I
You know
know.
what I mean?
And they were
it's-
footballing gods, a lot of them.
It's just one thing I'll never forget. Half time, the mood in that bar we were in, because I think you were crying, weren't you?
No,
I think you were crying.
no, I went.
think
I
you
was stoic.
Stoic.
Much like Cafu in that Milan shirt.
My dad was crying, and Tom went, "Listen, Dad, I'm 12 and a half. Let me tell you."
What?
13, 14, whatever you were, 13. But like the mood in there wasn't. No one left.
Yeah, no one left.
No one.
It was packed.
People didn't think it was that done.
Well, I think it was like, I think honestly, people were there and they were sort of going, well, we'll hang on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We might get a goal back, and great, but I remember this, and this is honest. My mate Rodney was walking past the pub, and he said, "No, I'm only joking. I'm stealing Wayne's story." No, I was sitting there in the pub. Now, a couple of months earlier, by the way, we did get to the League Cup final that year, and we were beaten by
Chelsea.
And Mourinho
Correct.
did the shush.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember watching that game, and I was heartbroken, sitting on the couch. And my auntie Jan went, "Oh, they got beat." And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "It's only the League Cup." And I was like, gutted, because my dad had went the game as well.
Yeah.
So I was gutted. I was gutted because, by the way, I never went, and then I'm gutted for me dad.
Yeah.
You take that ticket off you as well, did he?
Well, it was his ticket, but I thought he'd give me it. But last time I'm getting him on the podcast. Who was that player he kept mentioning, the Forest player?
Stephen. I can't even. Gary Bales.
Gary Bales,
yeah.
Anyway, and my auntie Jan were there watching the game. Istanbul was sitting there watching on the telly, and I'm just depleted, like. And she went, "We'll win this." And I was like, "Jan," and she was like, No, it's not done. Don't give up on it. Don't give up. We'll do this." And you know what? She was spot on.
Yeah.
She was spot the dog that night.
She was spot the dog,
She
yeah.
was.
Who
So
are
anyway,
Rodney? Who are Rodney?
yeah, Jan and Rodney doing the lottery.
Hey, I gotta say this so we forget so if it's all right. Just coming back to
Yeah.
Rafa at half time. I know everyone calls this the Gerrard final, and I think there's aspects of that are probably true, but I think tactically, I think Rafa pulled the masterstroke by bringing on Didi Hamann, because I think that nullified or closed down the space that Kaka could basically, Kaka, said that wrong, could kind of operate in it. And I think it really, it actually allowed us to, I think, Gerrard to push a little bit more forward. I mean, Gerrard played so many positions that night, but also I think it gave a little bit more freedom from defensive duties for Alonso as well, to kind of maybe dictate play a little bit more. So full credit to Rafa there. Maybe his hand was forced a little bit, but I think, you know, good managers react in those kinds of situations. And I think that was an absolute masterstroke. So as much for me when I hear people say it's a Gerrard final, I also say I think it's also a Didi Hamann and Rafa kind of final too, because he was brilliant. He just did that kind of dirty work that goes unseen, but he allowed other players to kind of play their proper game.
I think it was definitely it's definitely a defensive substance. It's to make sure they don't score anymore. I genuinely, I've seen Rafa do interviews since. There's no way you're thinking. I do think that change for Didi Hamann was just like, all right, let's not let them get another 3.
Yeah, maybe.
You know
but,
what I mean? But obviously it worked out the other. You know what I mean? It worked out the other way.
But
Yeah.
Steve
Fortunately
Finnan
for the best.
wasn't in the game. Stevie wasn't in the game. Stevie Finnan.
Yeah.
He's brought Hamann on. He's put Gerrard on the right and basically give him a free role. Go
Yeah.
and do whatever you want. Hamann's marked Kaka out the game.
Yeah.
Which, you know, Didi wasn't the Didi he'd been a couple of years before. He'd lost his legs a little bit, but he was solid, Didi.
That's
He's
right.
still good on the ball. And by the way, that question, that was in the trivia. It was going to be who did Rafa bring off and on?
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So I'll do another one. But no, I think an absolute. Let's close the game off in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
But opening up the game for Stevie. You know, Stevie's in the box for that header.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we get that moment. We get that moment of sheer magic where Yeti Dudek makes a double save against Shevchenko. And like
the craziest save I've ever seen in my life. I still don't understand how he saves that. And I don't even know. I still don't understand the physics involved. Everyone says that the way the angle of the ball goes up after it hits him, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Divine intervention, probably.
Yeah. Well, he was a religious guy, Yeti.
You know what? Go on. You got a gag there?
No?
Oh, okay. I thought there was going to be...
No, yeah, he was very religious, Yeti Dudek.
But what I still find, and like obviously we'll get to the penalties, but that game was like the end of Shevchenko.
Yeah, it sort of killed him, didn't it?
Yeah, like he was the best striker in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the end.
Yeah.
Well, Andrei Shevchenko misses the decisive penalty. Yeti Dudek 3 mile off his line.
The rule hadn't changed yet.
That was the rule. That was why it changed.
Yeah.
People at UEFA were like, "Hold on a minute, boys. We're gonna have to start putting something in place here."
Yeah.
But Yeti does it. The celebrations are absolutely crazy. The city goes into pandemonium. Were we together?
Carragher doing the
run and the
racehorse.
jump into the corner. Even Harry Kewell got his sprinting boots on. By the way, Harry, we've spoken about you before on the pod.
Yeah.
I loved you, mate. I thought you were brilliant. Yeah, absolutely love you, Harry Kewell, mate. What a left foot. But look, I'm still going to poke fun at you for Istanbul, all right? Don't be too sensitive about it.
Yeah.
What a legend. What a great guy. Liverpool win the cup. The scenes in Liverpool are absolutely amazing. Let's move on. Because the next season, you know, after winning the European Cup, it's like, where are Liverpool going to go from here?
That's right.
A sort of indifferent season again in the Premier League.
He brought Crouch in, didn't he?
He brought Crouch in from Southampton, yeah.
On the back of we played Southampton and Crouch dominated us, didn't he? I think they beat us 2-0.
Yep.
Is it St Mary's? They beat us 2-0 at St Mary's, and I think he was involved. I think he may have scored 2 actually. Battered us, and after the game, Rafa was like, "What a player Peter Crouch is!"
Yeah, we're gonna have
And I think Peter Crouch was like, "What?"
Yeah, 7 million.
Yeah, 7 million.
7 million. Liverpool, the season that year was indifferent in many ways. We got knocked out the Champions League, I think, by Benfica.
That's correct.
think.
Yeah, they beat us at Anfield. That's right.
They had that Champions League.
I've got no notes. It's all up here.
That Champions League winning shirt we had, didn't we? And then had the stars around the badge.
With the gold on the sleeves and stuff, yeah.
Yep.
It was cursed, that kit. They'll never bring another one of them out, tell you.
Yeah.
But Liverpool do beat Chelsea in the semi-final, the FA Cup that year at Old Trafford. Another Louis Garcia won goal. We get to Cardiff, where the FA Cup final was played that year. And we have spoken about this before on the pod, so we won't go too much into it. But, I mean, a game, really, that West Ham could have won.
Yeah.
Really quite easily.
Another 3-3.
Another 3-3. And Jamie Carragher scored an own goal, which was crazy. I've got a bit of news on Jamie Carragher.
Go on.
Coming our way for our podcast studio is a signed 2005 Jamie Carragher shirt.
Beautiful.
That'll sit behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
that was organised by my cousin Jonathan.
Johnny sorted that out.
Who's got connections, yeah.
Good
By
stuff.
connections, he plays 5-a-side footy with him.
I actually had a really nice opportunity a few years ago when he was in town on a tour. Got to meet him backstage, and he signed my One Night in Istanbul movie DVD for me. But you're not getting that, so that's mine.
So I haven't got a DVD player.
Welcome to the 90s, Mr. Bond. No, you should treasure it.
Yeah, keep that.
DVDs will come back in soon. Vinyls have.
Yeah.
That's it.
But no, Jamie Carragher scores an own goal in that game as an absolutely shocker there. Paul Konchesky scores one that goes over Pepe Reina's head.
Oh,
now,
Chesky. God.
yeah,
I think he had hair as well then, didn't he?
Yeah.
he had the full Craig Johnson there. He didn't. But Liverpool in the game scored a couple of crackers. Tribiel Cisse.
Tribiel Cisse's goal in that game.
Tribiel Cisse was wearing 2 different boots. Remember that?
Different colour boots.
Different colour boots. Yeah. And Gerrard floats one over and he opens his body, cracks it in.
Yeah.
Cracks it, yeah.
And then the game's late on. Stevie Gerrard scores a volley on the half bounce in the box,
which is actually that's where it's bouncing off the grounds, isn't it?
Yeah.
I reckon I spent the rest of my footballing days trying to hit the ball like that.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. The rest of me days trying to hit the ball.
But the one you would be screaming Gerrard at was any time you'd be playing football and the ball would drop to you from far away from your cones and on the street or whatever.
Yeah.
And you go, Gerrard! And that was because of that goal against West Ham. In that game, 35 yards or whatever it was, and he just hits the most perfect volley past Shaka Hislop. And yeah, it was like, whatever happens, we've won this cup final.
Yeah, it turns around.
Yes.
All that. It turns around.
Yes.
Up behind him.
Yeah.
But
you're good at them impressions. You've done a few of them now.
Honestly,
Jack,
that's Stevie one.
All right, Jack, I've got a bonus question for you, Jack. Who was the fullback that patted him on the back that had one season with us? Blonde hair.
I know this.
Jan. Bro. Oh. Just said his name. You remember him?
Marcelo.
I honestly can't remember.
Jan
It was
Krokop.
Jan Krankamp.
Yeah, Jan
I can't
Krokop.
remember
Sorry, I said
that.
his name wrong. Yeah.
That's a
Because
proper one season wonder.
I always watch that and I'm thinking, just get your hands off him, mate. You're like, he did nothing
Yeah,
for us. So,
you're ruining the photos.
yeah,
Like
see it?
like Yosemite in Istanbul, all over the photos. Get away!
Yeah.
I was going to mention
Oh.
that about Istanbul, the most famous photo. I thought, but there's Yosemite right there.
Yeah, it's like Trump when Chelsea won the Club World Cup.
Yeah,
I know.
There's no pictures. Like Carragher said, like there's hardly any pictures of him with the Champions League.
Yeah.
But Joseme's on every foot. It's like Ryan Brewster when we won in
Yeah.
2019. Full kit on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's had a bit of a resurgence, Ryan Brewster.
Good to
Hopefully
hear. Good.
things-
It's good.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah,
Good to see.
he started scoring again at the end of last season for Sheffield.
Good.
Sheffield United. So like it'd be good to. He's still only 16, I think now. So he's still got a career ahead of him.
Back to that one with that FA Cup final. I think it was Jamie Carragher's The Greatest Game podcast.
Great podcast. He doesn't do it anymore, does he?
No, Gerrard was on it, and he's like talked me through it. And West Ham had a throw in, and Liverpool had the ball. The ball gets thrown, and he's like, "I had that much cramp. I just said, fuck it, I'm hitting it.
Do you know what was funny when I
And he
think
did.
about all these?
Fuck it, I'm hitting it." That was the tactical thing in his head. You know, Rafa might want me to get it played out wide.
You know, it's the same as the Yeti save, like Wayne was saying. It just defies anything.
Yeah.
It's like Yeti could only stick his hand up in that way, and he did, and he saved the ball. And Stevie only had the energy to hit the ball in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What were you going to say, Wayne?
I was just going to say, I just remember, like, even with Istanbul and the FA Cup, like, every time we won a trophy under Rafa, and obviously it wasn't that many, but when we did, he always seemed really uneasy. And I think this was just him in general with, showing affection and that emotion. Because I think it was after Istanbul when we won and they were interviewing Rafa, and Gerard comes up to him and gives him a kiss on the cheek. And he says, it's all about this man. And I think Rafa appreciated, but you could just see he felt so. I think it was awkward for him, and it just reminded me of something else that I think even there was a recent really good interview where Stevie caught up with Rafa again. It was literally probably about a month ago that they released this video, and they were talking, and Stevie was saying how he grew up without really a father figure around because of his parents split. And how Julio was kind of that father figure for him. We used to put his arm around him and really guide him and look after him. But he said he didn't really, and he says when Rafa came in, it was completely different because he said Rafa was just very instructional, very transactional, very pragmatic, and he said would really push him. And even when he came off the pitch, the first thing Rafa would do is basically tell him what he did wrong or where he could improve.
Yeah.
And I think he said he didn't realize it at the time, but that was his way of being a father to me. He says, I'm actually very grateful for it now in hindsight because it helped me to grow as a man and as a person being. So I guess coming back to Rafa too, that that very distinct kind of not tactical but man management. His style was probably very different to Julio, who was a big father figure, and probably I'm seeing a lot of similarities now, I guess, between maybe Schlott and maybe Klopp. Klopp was very emotional, very wore his heart on his sleeve, the hugging type. Schlott seems a little bit more like Rafa to me in that sense, a little bit more. I hate to use the word distant, but
Reserved. Go for reserved.
Yeah, reserved. That's probably the best way to look at it. Reserved.
Yeah.
So, but
because you're right, Wayne. You do hear a lot of them stories with Rafa about like things he'd do that were cold, like with players, and even there's the one about Torres. I don't know if this was ever true, but it was in that game. Torres had come back into the team. He'd scored the goal at the front post against Chelsea, and he'd found out he was going to be a father. And he comes in, and because he did whether he did the suck and the thumb celebration or the ball, whatever it was, and everyone's like, "Oh, congratulations on your goals, well done, you're gonna be a father, congratulations." And Rafa's like, "I told you, keep running at the front post, because you'll score headers. When you listen to me, you'll score." And he just walked away. And Torres was like, "Cheers, boss, yeah."
But like
gracias, Gaffa.
This is the thing though, isn't it? Like we spoke about Mourinho earlier, and a lot was made out of that genuine rivalry between the two managers. Very similar in many ways, you know. You know, I mean, you know, I think a lot of there's a select number of players who love Jose Mourinho, right? But they were a close-knit network group.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there would have been players at Liverpool who loved Rafa, you know, who maybe shouldn't have been there. You know, Osami, Kroenkamp, like these sort of players who came in and played bit parts, Antonio Nunes, you know, loads of these types of players. But, like, at the end of the day, he wanted to win. And he had a roster of players who weren't as good as the other team. And he just had to get every inch out of them.
Yeah, get the thing out that we needed.
You know, so when Torres goes to training on Monday, he's like, you know what, fuck you, boss, I will run at the front post, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing that to me again. You know what I mean? But look, I mean, let's fast forward a little bit, because I am conscious of time. This is going to be like Lord of the Rings if we carry on. Because we're only little. Now, 2006 we win the FA Cup. 2007 was trophyless.
That's right.
But we did get to the Champions League final that year. We got to Athens, and Rafa gave us a great night in Barcelona, and we beat Chelsea at Anfield as well in another stormbuster of a Champions League semi-final, which I was lucky enough to be at. Now, 2008 was an interesting year. Talking to Wayne about it earlier. Wayne, you were talking about that press conference he did about Fergie. Remind us of that.
Yeah, all right. I'm just going to say one thing, that Jack does a very good impersonation of Rafa, speaking about the fuss. Nah,
sounds
look,
like Trump.
I that press conference, I think the intention was right. I just think, and I think the execution was right. I just think the outcome didn't have the desired effect. I think it backfired in some respects. I can see why he did it, because he was just basically saying what we all knew. How basically, you know, Ferguson, I wouldn't say had the ref in his pockets, but obviously had a lot of sway, and there was a lot of intimidation there. And it was just mind games. But yeah, I don't think that's the standout for that season. Obviously, there was so many highlights in that season that were just incredible. The Torres Gerrard partnership, I mean, that was a masterstroke.
Magic, yeah. Just
Magic. Like,
wasn't it?
seriously, probably one of the best assists I've ever seen in my entire life, when I think Torres basically has his back to goal, flicks the ball up with the defender on his shoulder, flicks the ball up with his chest, and literally just kind of does this flick with it like a back heel, puts it in a path in front of Gerrard, who goes on and scores. It was just beautiful. Those guys were just unstoppable. But I think if you look at that kind of season as a whole, we probably, we drew too many games when we should have won. But it was good. It was actually a taste of we can actually be, just as good as Manchester United. We beat them twice that season. And, obviously that fantastic win at Old Trafford, and the lead up to that where we smashed Real Madrid midweek as well, 4-0, where, what was his name? The Italian, his starring week. Not bad, eh? Not bad to put on your CV.
Andrea Dossena.
Yeah.
Not bad to say on your CV. Hey, look, I played a few games for Liverpool. I scored against Madrid and Manchester United at Old Trafford in 1 week. But
I think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about the Rafa press conference, because in his head he'd have been like,
I'm going to show him.
I'm showing him, yeah.
Good on him for doing it.
I'm not going to do the impression, but like, I've seen Man United players talk about that, and they go like, that's when we knew we were going to win the league. Because like, if they'd have just carried on doing their stuff and not making a deal out of it, but they knew, like, they all knew they were in his head after that. I remember, I can't remember who we played, but I seem to remember like Sam Allardyce having a pop at Rafa after it, because like Sam Allardyce was in Fergie's pocket in his little managers who all loved him. Mr. Ferguson. But yeah, because like you look at Rafa, like the rivalry with Mourinho, obviously that with Ferguson, but like he did always seem to get under people's skin, didn't he? Like other managers to get that kind of, you know, like on a European front, like Ancelotti, obviously Mourinho. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it was something in his head that he was just like, people are gonna be like, smashed it there, Rafa.
Yeah.
And it just didn't turn out that way at all.
Yeah, I wonder what the reaction was from the players, in the dressing room. I mean, let's be honest. From that point, Liverpool never fell apart.
No.
You know, I think you know there was moments in that season. The Makeda goal at Old Trafford against Aston Villa absolutely put the knife in Liverpool. I think that was one of them moments. It felt like if they didn't win that game, it was gonna have an effect on the title race.
Yes.
And let's be honest, that Manchester United team were a fantastic football team. Now I think Rafa stays one more year. I think so from memory.
Did we get knocked out the Champions League? We had Kyriakos.
Yeah,
I remember he played against, was it Leon or something?
Leon,
we got knocked out.
got beat 2-0.
And I remember going, we had a punch bag in our garage, and I just beat the shit out of that punch bag after that game. I was so angry, man. So angry.
I remember the beginning of that season was after we lost title. Because I think Alonso went to Madrid, if I remember right.
Arbeloa went there as well.
Yep, and I think our first game was away at Spurs, and we started Levia, Lucas, and Gerrard in midfield, and we were flat as attack. And I think Spurs beat us quite comfortably too. I don't know if it was 3-0 or 2-1 or something like, or 2-0. But
We were at a wedding that day. I think it was 2-0. I think it was 2-0.
and it's just like, oh God, what a way to start the season. It was just like, yeah. And so I think from there, it comes back to that whole, and I'm pretty sure it was after Athens, we lost in Athens to Milan too, that he said his infamous also, you know, I asked for a sofa and I get a lampshade. And I think that's something we need to touch on too, is that his, you know, became very public battles with Hicks and Gillette. That whole, I mean, which seems like so long ago, and you know that those idiots almost, you know, completely ruined our club. But you know, he was fighting a one-man battle, and it wasn't just, you know, him. It was Hicks and Gillette. There was, what's his name, also Purslow, that other rat.
Christian Perslow, yeah.
Oh gosh, and then they brought in that dude from Chelsea. What was his name? The one who was there when we actually sold the club. I can see him. He's like dark hair.
Sir someone, isn't he? He was Sir something.
Yeah, he was.
I think he went back to Chelsea, you're right, didn't he? After Christian Bale. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, because you remember, Rafa gave his notice in at one point, didn't he?
I think it was.
Well, let's not forget actually that the club were interviewing Jurgen Klinsmann.
He was at the
That's
game.
right.
He was at a game.
Unbelievable.
That's right. Yep, that's right. Like, what a it's hard to believe we were in that position, and also that these guys were running us. And you know, Rafa was almost he was fighting a lone battle. I mean, he had his on our side, you know, us as the fans, and you know, Rick Parry, who was, you know, as bad as useless, you know, he's completely useless, that man. But I think if you take that all into account, what he achieved was pretty remarkable.
For sure.
In spite of all that.
Yeah.
So
Do you remember Tom and I? But you would have took me before games and going to protests in that time, and they said they don't care about Rafa, they don't care about fans. Liverpool Football Club is in the wrong hands.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's very catchy, wasn't it? It go on forever. It was really, you know what, like in a way, I was a little bit excited by it all. Like it felt like we were trying to start a revolution to get our club back.
Yeah.
And I've seen a similar thing happen at Manchester United in recent years. And you know, with
the Norwich scarves.
Manchester United, yeah, exactly. Manchester United are a great old football club.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
And the way that they're being treated is absolutely disgusting. But yeah, I mean, Rafa had to put up with a lot of crap. He had to put up with very low budgets, but he will forever be a Liverpool legend.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.